And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the 1 millionth expansion for Smash Up. Actually, I think it's like the 12th expansion. I'm not sure. There's a lot of them, though. This is Smash Up Expansion World Tour International Incident. Now, I think this is the first of a World Tour set. That's what this box is leading me to believe. So now we're going to go around the world so we can make fun of different areas or different people. Not make fun, but I mean, Smash Up's a silly style game. So we got sumo wrestlers, musketeers, luchadors, and mounties. All stuff that are fun thematic-wise, but are they fun in the game? I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already know how to play Smash Up. Here's what the new guys do. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at each of the different factions, starting from my least favorite to my favorite. I don't dislike any of the factions, by the way. I'm just going to show you them in that order. So first we have the Musketeers. The Musketeers have a lot of action cards in them. Search your deck for an action that directly affects a minion, put it in your hand, and you can play it. You got a card that's all for one and one for all. Here you can pick someone to get +2 power and play an extra action. So you'll notice there's a lot of ways to play actions before a base scores. Give one of your minions there +2 power until the end of the turn. Draw a card. Move one of your minions to another place and play an extra action. Here I can play an extra minion, put an action on them as an extra action, play 2 actions. So these guys are about playing a ton of actions. You'll definitely want to pair them up with a group that has a lot of actions. There's quite a few young musketeers in the deck. Anytime you play an action on them, they get +1 power, or the first time. So these guys are 3s, but could easily be 4s. And then we have D'Artagnan, Athos. These guys basically have special abilities. This one, when you play an action that affects him, you get a card. When you play an action that affects any minion at this spot, they get +1. Athos is probably the best. And then we have Aramis and Porthos. He's not affected by their player's actions. And if you play an action that affects him, you can play an action that directly affects them as an extra action. So again, the Musketeers are all about how many actions can we play? The Mounties are all about friendship. So they start with Dudley, who always wants to do what's right. This guy has a talent where you can move him to a base with another player's minion to give him +1 until the end of the turn. So you just move him around and he gets +1. So it makes him a 3. There's several Dudleys in the deck. The War Canuck, which is one of my favorite. There's a moose with machine guns on it. Anyway, if there's another player's minion there, this minion gets +1 power. You don't want these guys to be by themselves. They make friends with the opponents. This guy gets +1 minion for each, +1 power for each minion controlled by another player with the most minions there. So if you're fighting against the guy with the zombies or something, this Mountie Major is pretty powerful. Then we have different actions. These are the only 3. There's several of each in a deck. There's like not one major big one, but they have a lot of cool actions. Then on top of that, where you can move someone to another player's minion with less power to destroy that minion. The Battle Moose, which is awesome. Everyone should have a battle minion. You can't be destroyed. You can play your first action. You can play this card. This one I like a lot. You can play this as an extra action. One of your minions gets +1 power, and then it goes back in your hand. The HQ gives all your minions +1 power. You can move people back and forth from the base. Here you get +1 power. Choose a base with another player's minion. Move one of your minions from another base there to give it +2 power until the end of the turn. So moving around gives you power 2. And then Power Poutine. Up to 2 of your minions there get +2 power until the end of your turn. Which is pretty powerful, right? It's a +4. I like that a lot. And now the Sumo Wrestlers. Here, the Rookie Sumo can discard a card to put a +1 power counter on one of your minions. So I'll tell you right now, the Sumo thing is all about discarding cards to do stuff, which makes them a really cool hookup with the Ghosts from the original set, because the Ghosts did well if you got rid of your cards. So Sumo Ghosts, I would imagine you'll see those played a lot. Here you can move another player's minion with power 3 or less to draw a card. They can also draw cards too, so they have some versatility to them. If you discard a card from your hand, this guy gets a +1 power counter. That's pretty awesome. That's why he's top tier. And Yokozuna, your minions can't be moved, all your minions, and you can draw a card or move someone's minion from here to another base. He's one of the coolest, most powerful minions in the game, so that's neat. Then you have Body Slam. You have some actions. So you got Body Slam and Headbutt. Here you can pick a place where you have a minion. Both of them move somewhere else. Here you can destroy another player's action that's on top of someone. Here you can choose a base where you have a minion, move a minion from there to another base. Then there's some prizes. Draw 2 cards and place 2+1 power counters on your minions. That's a great card. And just draw 3 cards. That's a performance prize. Here's a technique prize. Place 3+1 power counters on one of your minions. Here, give one of your minions +2 power until the end of the turn, or discard a card to give it +4 instead. Again, more ways to discard. Discard any number of cards. For each card discarded, put a +1 power counter on one of your minions. Oh, if you have a big hand, if you have someone who lets you draw a lot of cards, this could be like an amazingly awesome thing. So yeah, I like the sumo wrestlers a lot. And finally, my favorite faction from here, the luchadors, because of the way these guys have these setups here. So here, for example, I have a quick setup. Play another player's minion. This is an action I can play on someone else's minion, and then I get to play another extra action. Well, why would I want to do that? The Yellow Demon has something similar. I can search my deck or discard pile for a setup action and put it in my hand. These setup actions, which we'll get to in a second, can be played in other characters. Choose any number of actions. Place one that can be played in a minion into your hand. So another way to get these cards in your hand. Here are the setups. Put us in another minion. And then your minions there get +1 power. Put us another minion. Each time a minion's played here, draw a card. Put us on another well, those are 2 of the setups. There's another setup in here too. Senor Mucho Slam. Place an action from your discard pile in your hand. He can play an action on another player minion as an extra action. So there's lots of ways to play actions on other people. These don't seem to hurt them too much, but here's why they come into play. Flor Luca. This guy here, if another player's minion here has one of your actions on it, this minion's +2. Well, considering there's several Flor Lucas in my set, having some cheap 5s to throw out is great. Pin. You can basically cancel someone's abilities and their power is not in the total as long as they have one of your actions on it. Pick someone with an action on it. Put one of those back in your hand and then destroy that minion. And before base scores where you're not winning, take control of a minion there that has a setup action on it till the end of your turn, a reversal. And then this character here, before the base scores, you may destroy a minion here with printed power 3 or less controlled by each other player. That's just a fun guy to have around. So we have all these different setups and things that you play on other characters, which then there's a payoff. And I really like having these in the game. The game also comes with some tokens here. So that's a nice thing to have. And we got a bunch of locations. These are just different locations that match the different characters. Nothing majorly unique about them. There's a lot of things about actions and moving stuff around. The game also comes with this World Tour VIP Backstage Pass, which basically you get to go to different events if you have this, and it can give you things, and it shows you the different events that they'll be at, and then you can use this VIP pass there. So that's kind of cool. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what the long run of this is, but that's what's in this set. So there you have it. Now this expansion is, for me, you know, when I put all the different expansions together, I think I put this one as a middling one. I like it. All the guys are fine. None of them are like this completely new thing, except for the luchadors. I really like how the luchadors work, how they play a card to set them up to play out, you know, this awesome thing later on. That reversal is super fun. And so these are great. And also all 4 of these are the kind of ones you're like, oh, this is neat. Who can I combine this with? And that's kind of a neat idea. Thematically wise, they're all fun. Sumo wrestlers, musketeers, mounties, luchadors. You get in and make cheesy accents and just get into the theming of this. I think people will enjoy it for that purpose alone. So this is also a good one. Let's say you own Smash Up and you don't own any expansion. This is not a bad one to start with, right? Because this does not have anything that's too complex. The original set doesn't have the power counter, so that's something new to add. But for the most part, this stuff just makes sense. You say, okay, I can put these together and add stuff. And so it works really well. So a nice, solid little expansion. I like it, as I like most of the expansions for Smash Up. World Tour International Incident. Dice Tower Judgment approved!